Hello, good evening. This is You Know Who, the Alive for myself, and Sean Blumenfeld. It is 12:53 a.m. already. It is Sunday. Never did get the little laundry done. Anyhow, this is, you know, very touchy subject, especially with me. Um, but many of you know I came from a very dysfunctional family. Very. And I wasn't wanted when I was a child. It's it has been put to me like this many times. I was born in '58, by the way, 1958, and I'm using myself as an example because it's a good example of what we say to our children because of how much um, counseling care it has taken, and it's been nonstop for me. It along with many other things that followed, brought about um, some very sad things. Just sad. Um, I believe that when a child is born, you raise the child. That perhaps taking part in a child's life is the best thing you can do. uh, Taking them places, baseball, football, soccer. Take them to the mountains and hike and camp, you know. And I always tell them that they're loved, no matter what they've done when they're smaller. They're not adults. I have never met, um, I have never met anyone who can really act like an adult until they're maybe 35 or 40. It takes time. And the old rule when I was growing up was when you turn 18, you're ousted out of the house. And that was the rule of my family. So if you were 18, that was it. On graduation day, you have a week to get out or a month, and that was it. That was papers. Anyway, what it did is it prohibited many things like um, trying to get college grants or even knowing about them. It didn't seem that in my instance there was any, um, it wasn't a big deal if you went to college or not, and you were a girl, so you're useless. Seriously. Uh, anyway, I grew up um, being told, I didn't even know what an abortion was, that I was supposed to be aborted. But in 1958, abortion was not legal, nor were there any abortionists that they knew, and the ones that were out there were rather, um, you would die. You would just die in most cases, or be infertile for the rest of your life. Uh, in the, in my case, I was told later on that I was never wanted or loved, and then come to find out, the woman would have put me up for adoption, except her parents or her parent would not allow it because of blood ties. It was interesting. Plus the fact that she was married. Most people um, don't really want, you know. Um, if they really don't want their baby, I don't think it should be up to the parents whether or not the person who had the baby puts the baby up for adoption. I think the baby being put up for adoption is a lot better than abortion anyway. Yeah. I have never um, it was met with such cruelty. So basically, it's you you know if you don't want your child, A, don't throw it in the garbage. Okay. Um, B, leave it at the hospital or the local police station. And C, if you keep the child, raise the child. Raising means more than a food and clothing and shelter at times. It also means a hug and telling them all the time that you love them. I don't think there's any such thing as spoiling a kid. I have seen and recognized that spoiling is good, not rotten. We're not talking about giving the kid a Corvette the day that they turn 16. We're telling, encouragement and love, and you hang in there even when bad times are really. And understand puberty. Puberty is really shitty, and I've, I'm postmenopausal now, and oh, I think puberty was easier for me, not for them. But I I've talked about it so much. Uh, the crimes of the parents is what I call it. Is that, and of course, the woman lives in denial. Has lied about me. Um, that group of people have slandered me. I believe and really do that when things are really, really bad in a family, that um, the parents be responsible for paying all counseling fees for as long as the child needs it or adult. And I also believe when it comes to a sexual abuse, an emotional abuse, or any kind of abuse on a kid, um, especially sexual abuse, that the kid can, that there's no time. It'd be the same as murder. You can press charges 30 years later and they have to face it. I am the type that, when I faced off these people, I wrote it sadly in an email, and my two sisters were affected. One of my sisters been affected for years anyway. She alcoholism and a lot of anger, and it wasn't helped. I it's hard to help someone who is very angry and not sober. I hear she's sober now. It's a silent crime in a family. It's the skeletons that cling and clang, and that every time they start to come out of the closet, they're pushed back in and suffocated. People don't talk about what happens. Or when you try, they they simply they never cared. We have to encourage adoption. We really do. Late-term abortions are not the answer. If you're going to abort, abort within the first 8 weeks, and then that's it. No farther. You know, you have no idea um, what it does to your body. Um, Carrying a human being, the fetus, is not uh, a leech, as some people call it, taking your nutrients. You put the nutrient there, and so take responsibility. It's just not worth it. Go away. You don't want you to know. Anybody wants to know that you're pregnant? Go to an aunt's house. Go. Just go. It's a very uncomfortable subject for me just because of uh, the denial, more lies, and I've been sick for many years, and then accused that I haven't been sick at all. So it's kind of odd, really. One of my aunts, I found out when I worked for the law firm, one of them, that she literally, after I had my hysterectomy in, what was it, 1980, 81, it was partial hysterectomy because I left the fallopian tubes in and the ovaries. And anyway, I had fibroids all through me. Yeah, I was young, and I thought, oh my God, it's cancer. It was later explained to me by the doctor. No, it's fibroids causing all the heavy bleeding, and all that. My grandmother ran with that. But what really happened was my aunt, her youngest daughter, uh, went through the doctor's wife, who she went to school with, to find out medically what really was going on. She hated me. My aunt really hated me and still does. Though I will say, if you believe in karma, they're all getting it quite heavily. So, and then checking up on other things, anywhere from mole removals to things that didn't make any sense at all. And it's really funny is that I don't think that the younger child realized sooner or later I'd find out. Sooner or later she would be who she really is, or what she really is. So coming from a child, an adult woman now, at age 54, if you kept your child, do not tell that child they were never to be loved, they were to be aborted, and you tried to give them away, especially if you kept them. It's a form of emotional abuse, and I believe with all my heart that it destroys a peace of mind. Be nice to your kids. They're not born all the time. They're kids. A piece of your body and soul. Don't ignore them. Some become very dangerous. One of them did.